Welcome to our children. Blessings from God. Today I have a wonderful, wonderful person here with me, Chaz Green, aka Chaz the Entertainer. He's done so much for the Black and brown community. I mean, so spectacular, so great. He's personally my mentor, and I'm just happy to have him here. I host this show, and I'm just so happy to have this vibe with me here, Chaz Green. So before we get started, I just want to get to depth to like what you do. So can you explain furthermore on what you do for the community?
First, thanks for the introduction. That was an awesome introduction. I'm basically just a community activist. I like to say that. I like to do events, to help youth to keep them off the street. Like they're so talented, like kids like you. I mean, young men like you, very talented. And instead of always running outside, wanting to fight and fuss and all that, I try to get them to take that talent and dance, step, sing, speak, poetry, express yourself, but in a positive manner, not a negative manner.
So you saying like a positive manner. So if a kid decides to be a rapper, and but the only thing he knows is negativity, but he decides to share it through his rap, is that good? Is that good because he's getting his emotions out, or is that bad because he can be promoting violence?
Well, what's unfortunate, some of his life might be volatile, and it might be a lesson in it. You want expression, but see, one of the problems with the world today is it's called, well, first of all, they're too sensitive, but the accepting of negativity. See, accepting negativity is really big. Like if we accept everybody want to be walking around with guns, their pants sagging and everything like that, then we're accepting negativity that's detrimental to us of people of color. Now, why can't he try to do something positive? Like if he wants to say something negative, I had a gun, tell me why you didn't use the gun or the results of it. And then that's how you have to do it.
So do you think the society put like the negativity into kids to like walk around with guns and want to be able to like fight and stuff like that? Do you think what me and my peers, youth, we see on TV, does that affect how we act in our everyday life?
Well, I call it cosmetic copycats. We're a bunch of copycats. You see some sneakers you like, you gotta have it. You can't afford it. You see a shirt you like, you can't afford it. Half of the things is fictional. See, when I was growing up, we knew the difference between TV and reality. There's a whole different kind of reality, like, cause our community literally govern our living. But what happens, unfortunately, is these kids, they sit behind the TV, the video games, and they start thinking that. And psychologically, it gets you tough. You want to hear music to get rough? You put on music to get tough. You don't never want to listen to music to calm you down like we used to have a choice. So yeah, basically, they're identifying the negativity, and the city, the community, heck, the world is putting it out there. And I'm gonna be honest with you, as a man of color, there is a purpose for them to put it out there. And it's called like I can't even find a word for it, but it's to make us subpar. It's to downgrade our living. So if it's negative and it's put out there, like real quick, like, okay, everybody wants weed to be legalized. If weed legal gets our kids in college, graduate, sustain a beautiful life, successful and everything, then maybe that's not a bad thing. But if my kids are just gonna be on the corner high, making bad decisions, sleeping all day and eating at McDonald's, getting fat, what good is it?
That was really deep. Is there like a message that you want to send to the kids, my peers?
Yeah, y'all the future, I'm the present. So, and I know you're the future, _ but I'm the present. So basically I'm trying to establish a life and a life lesson for you to carry on my DNA, you know, so you can work at a good place and pay Social Security so I can be old and enjoy the fruits of my labor. But like as an emotional human being, if I fail you and you fail your child, and then in the long run, I fail Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Barack Obama, Harriet Tubman, Miss Bethune, McLeod. I mean, you know, I might mix up some words, but you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So we have to establish a standing. A standing. Be an upstanding human being. Not no bum. I mean, not to put people out in the street and say they're bum, but one thing about it, Chris, real quick. What do you think a kid that doesn't go to school right now, if he wants to cut classes and everything like that, what is he going to be when he's 24 years old?
Statistic?
Worse than a statistic. That same bum out on the street. I mean, you know, excuse the vernacular, but I want to express myself the real way. So that's why I do what I do, because when I was growing up, like, we were disciplined by the whole neighborhood. Mm-hmm. My mama, we got a spanking before we even got to our mama. We was disciplined. We had morals and goals. We had to sit down at the dinner table. We had to do this, we had to do that. Now, I'm saying it's not here anymore, and what do I have? Young people hitting old ladies over the head, stealing their money, people cutting the line, knocking you down, being disrespectful, black on black crime, all the stuff like that. So, I mean, the past, something must have went right for us to be in this situation as of now.
Okay, so I have a question for you. At school, we were discussing a quote Malcolm X said. Well, not really a quote, but like kind of like a philosophy or something like that. We was like just discussing if us as peers growing up in a society like this, if we should follow what Malcolm X said, which was separate from them, from our white counterparts. So, and I brought up the question, if we did separate from our white counterparts, do you think there would have been negativity in the black community, such as the crack, the black on black crime? Do you think any negative aspects of life in our society would have leaked in through the cracks if we would have separated?
Okay, Malcolm X to me is a prophet. Okay, let me tell you something. When Malcolm X did say that, and then if you remember when he went to Mecca, he actually said that you know, he wanted he wanted to combine. But one of the things that Malcolm X said, and what Malcolm X said was, in order for us to do good, we have to take care of ourselves. Like, we don't take care of ourselves. We, like, us black people, I mean, like, hey, we'll do songs, We Are the World, and everything for We Are the World, and we won't do We Are Jack for the Bronx, or Brooklyn, or Queens. So it's not to separate ourselves, because if you separate us, then basically you'll pull some of the white DNA out of me, or whatever. But what happens is that we have to build our own communities, meaning socially, invest in our communities, and invest in things that benefit us. I mean, case in point, look right where we are, 59th Street. It's a whole different world down here, and it's no disrespect to any other race or whatever like that, but you go up to the Bronx, they knocking you over, bumping into you, rushing to McDonald's or something like that, everything like this. And here, they seem like everybody's walking down the street, they're riding their bikes, guys say ching, 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 move out the way and everything, and there's something wrong. It's like, it's funny, because movies tell the truth. I really believe, Chris, I mean, this is going to be real scary when I say this, that they're setting up, and I'm not just saying the blacks and Hispanics or whatever, I'm saying the less fortunate people. I think they're going to put us on an island somewhere and let us live barbarically the way we want to live, and then get rid of the bridge, and on the other side, it's another world of comfort and education, so to speak, and status quo.
Okay, so, but before we get into, like, you know, the next, because I know you're an activist, stuff like that, but I want to get to your entertainment side, because Yeah, he's Chad's entertainer, so I want to reach into that. What do you do as far as like entertainment?
Okay, well, I tell you why I got the name Chaz Entertainer.
Yeah.
Because I got a bunch of guys from Jeff Poetry Jam was doing some poems and they bombed. I got up there and did a poem and did real well. I was blessed by God that I grew up singing for the love of my siblings. I dance. I actually draw, write novels or in just creative writing and creative thinking. So they label me Chaz Entertainer only by the blessings of God that I was able to fit in different positions with other people and do it well, like sports and everything like that. So,
Would you like to sing something? You know, a little. It could be something soft. You know, just a little something.
All right, because I knew you was gonna try to put me on the spot anyway, Chris.
Yeah.
All right, I always like this one part. I just love it. Was Howard Hewitt when he sung this part. He said, I wanna thank you, God, for giving me one more chance. Raise my voice and to sing your praise. I sing it out loud. I sing it all there. This song is my prayer to give to only you. I know I can't compare from the gift of you. And that's just, I just love that part right there. Was that all right with you, Chris? Because you know you're very critical.
Nah, it was fine with me.
Oh,
you know.
thank you. Good.
Yeah. I just if you had a major breakthrough, if you were one of the top 10 artists, what would your music what would you like your music to push through the present and the future for
I would like to see a young boy from the Bronx survive. Survive and if I had a song or if I had if I was able to make it, break through, God bless me and everything, well, because he has blessed me already, so I live abundantly well, because I'm just always happy and plentiful. But I would like to see our people, and I have to say our people because this is who I am. I'd like to see a successful. I'd like to see, just like the brother talked to us today, the brother with the nice dreads and everything like that, and sharp with his suit and tie on. Not to say you always got to have a suit and tie. Had words of wisdoms. He spoke without biting his tongue because he had big black lips. Instead of going, that's what I feel like. No, he was like, look, brothers, let's do this. And I would like to see us, like a brother like you, move, take over this movement. So when the day comes where I get the opportunity to meet my Most High or whatever, I can say like Martin Luther King said, if I can help someone with word of song, if I can help somebody traveling along in my living, will not be in vain. So if I misquoted that, you got the idea. So I just want my little life as a little speck on this earth to be worth something, to touch somebody's heart so they can do better for the next person. And we can rejoice of being the kings and the queens that God created us under his name.
So if we had more brothers like the guy we were talking to earlier, do you think there will be more a lot of more less black on black crime than there is, or do you think it'll still be the same, but
Well, it's kind of funny, and I'll put this to you real quick. There are times now when you see a man in a suit or a business outfit or a uniform, our community looks at them as the less. They see the drug dealer as the big Something's wrong with that. They should be looking at the hard-working man to come home, take care of his family, his wife, and his children as the man, and look at them and say, what's funny, right? This concept is really funny. When I was growing up, if you did well, people would say, oh, that's okay, he did well, because they expect it. Now, if you do well, people say, he did what? He did good? Oh my goodness, it's hard to believe. And the same thing is when you did bad back in the day, people used to say, oh my goodness, this kid did bad? I can't believe that. Now, they say, you do bad, it's normal. So Yeah, so the suit and tie and the work and the responsible black man is a successful man and is a good man. And we need to recognize that person instead of recognize the drug dealer. And last but not least, the gangs. The gangs are stepping in and putting what they call the man, the superior man picture on the thing. So now you got a superior man as a gang member who's giving love to our youth and everything, and now we have the hardworking black man who's actually being ignored. And it all works around the whole system. It's a systematic plan.
So, do you think when people join gangs and stuff like that, because you were talking about gangs, is it because of peer pressure, or is it like a combination with something else, or like what drives a young boy like me or younger or a little bit older to join the gang? Is it peer pressure? Is it love? What is it?
It's both. It's peer pressure and it's love. Let me tell you something. Some of the gangbangers that I know, they got mad love. And they're in it's kind of crazy to say this, but they're in a paramilitary organization. They're in a constructive organization. That means they have rules and regulations or whatever. So why the regular kid can't have rules and regulations? Why I can't discipline my kid to keep him from going out in the street? And no disrespect to the police department, because I work for the police department and there's a lot of good cops. But a cop can shoot a kid, but I can't discipline my own kid for not going outside and being shy. See, the gangs, once they get into the gang forms as a family, a missing mother, a missing father, a missing brother. And they literally show love and commitment to each other. Now, that's the most dangerous thing in the world, that if a negative organization is showing commitment and love to our kids, who are they going to gravitate to? So now if our men step up and be men, then we can get our kids back, and they don't need necessarily the gang. If we can control our education, and the school system, them kids running wild in the school system. And if we can control our education, then we can get our kids back. We can get our kids back to being with men and being with father. And last but not least, so many kids that parents are incarcerated and everything, but it's a teach, be taught situation. Somewhere the peg fell.
So, yeah, the educational system, it is corrupt, very much so. What is the limit to where the school? Okay, let me rephrase it. Do you think the school educational system? Do you think they get paid to send mixed messages to children like me, black and brown children? Do you think they get paid to send mixed messages and to teach us half of the truth?
Yeah, I kind of like that. And let me tell you something. I'm going to be honest with you. I know for a fact that I've watched a lot of basketball stars and superstars and everything, and they say the greatest person that was ever in their life, the greatest mentor, was a teacher, something like that. And I can systematically tell you that a lot of the teachers that I deal with, oh my goodness, and I can name some names, love the kids, want to give their best to the kids, but they're not allowed to discipline them. They're not allowed to discipline these kids. They're not allowed to control order. We need order. Everybody needs order. And if they're not allowed to if a teacher grabs my son and my son graduates, I am not mad at him. If the teacher ignores my son because he can't discipline my son because, quote unquote, the powers that be have restrictions and regulations on how they are supposed to teach the kid that I want to be the future president of the United States, something's wrong. So if the teachers can discipline the kids, I'm not saying kill kids, hurt kids, or maim kids, they discipline the kid. Now everything is capital punishment. Chris, when I was growing up, we had to do this. We had books in both our hands, and we had to stand up on one leg and hold those books, right? Now that's called capital punishment. You screw up, you write on the desk, you clean every desk in the school. Now that's, capital punishment. You write somewhere else, you clean the wall. You had to stay at the school, you have to do detention, you have to do that. All this is capital punishment. Last but not least, capital punishment, and what? We have one of the most, I don't want to say it, but lack of education in our community. And the poorest So how can we combat that? If I can't discipline you, if a teacher can't discipline you and teach, so who's setting us up? The person that's allowing that. Because I wouldn't allow it.
Do you think systematic love is enough?
Systematic love is just like a system. Systematic love. True love is like how I love you. I don't have to be your blood. But you're also going to respect me, and I'm going to demand respect. But I'm going to come to you with a persona of respect. So you're going to see me, you're going to automatically. Systematic means I got to love you because the system says that. Now, if that works, it's good. But the system also says not to love you. System says don't hug kids. System says love kids. You get it? That has to be erased. Has to be true love. And if we could put that in the system, then it comes with discipline and understanding. A dog, I mean, no disrespect to put us like a puppy, but you let a puppy run around, he gonna bite you. And he gonna feel it, he gonna bite you. You discipline that puppy, you train that puppy, hey, train or teach that puppy puppy will be the most honorable puppy in the world. We're running wild, dude. It's sad. It's sad. I'm sitting on the train, and just now, coming here, ladies start yelling at the lady and said, I'll beat the crap out of you, whatever. I'm sitting on the train. I feel bad.
When you see the black on black crime, do you think it takes away from our roots of us being kings and queens? Do you think when you see black on black crime, do you think we're seeing less of us when we beat each other up?
Okay, I've always said this when I did my poem. I said, why you don't love me? Why if you take a whole, I was just thinking about this earlier today, it's kind of crazy. Why if I take a whole group of colored kids and put them outside in the yard and take another group and put them to the right and then put another group to like, almost like in a triangle position? Why each one of them, when they look at each other, say, why are you looking at me? What you looking at? I'll go over there. Instead of saying, hey, why y'all have on orange and why we have on red? We're taught like animals to just like basically go at each other like, why you hate me? I didn't do anything to you. All I want to do is live. And bless you. And that's one of the problems. Like we're taught hatred. And hey, it's a problem too with the powers that be. Mm-hmm. Because when we get people at the top, except for Obama, because he did an excellent job, we get people up in the top, they forget about where they came from. They look at you like you're less. No, help each other up. You heard of the monkeys in the barrel? I mean, the crabs in the barrel? Yeah. Where one crab pull it, that's what we do. It hurts. I'm telling you, dude, I really hurt. I'm not a fearing person, mm-hmm. but I fear because I don't know what this world expects from me.
Oh. So, okay, I want to get back to, your political side again.
Okay, yeah.
Well, we kind of already did that. But your organization, can you explain what your organization does?
This organization is called Rock Greening Association, mm-hmm. right? Rock Greening Association, my grandmom, she started it with planting stuff in the garden and stuff like mm-hmm. that. So in the long run, it was funds left over. So my mother and a couple of other people, God bless her dead, Megan Sherlock, she passed away. So my grandmother, Virginia A. Garrett, and they put the fund together. So when we got the fund together, we started donating money to schoolyards, right, to beautify the garden and everything. So I got into that, but then I realized, hey, what good is a beautiful garden and we got kids that need growth? So I started utilizing the money, to which was really basically down to pennies. I started utilizing the money and started having events, showcases like the Battle with the School Stars, all kinds of anti-bullying, all kinds of awareness and everything, right? So, of course, that money ran out, but I still keep up the legacy with my mom, Marion E. Green name. And what happened is, so that organization, we just keep on. So we team up with Guns Down Life Up, which I'm proud to say that I team up with Guns Down Life Up. But I basically do my thing called, it's the Don't Push Me Project. It teaches people don't bully each other. I don't care what ethnicity you are. Hey, even your gender. Like, don't push me. Just don't push me. Meaning, if you don't have anything good to say, don't.
Don't say that at all.
Don't say it. Just try to love each other. Stop looking at me as the enemy, and then I get, by the blessings of God, I get to bring all these kids together from different walks of life, and we throw a showcase. And shoot, man, you hosted the showcase. You sold, you sang at the showcases. You're one of my inspirations too, bro. Because you're a powerful young dude, and you don't even know it yet. That's why I'm gonna keep you on track.
Thank you. I just want to, this might be the last question, but I just wanted to get back to the crabs in the barrel thing that you said. Why do you think the black and brown community, or like people in general, have to, fight each other to get on top?
Because literally, we were taught through slavery days, and through, actually slavery days just really dismantled us. And through slavery days, we were taught that in order to get ahead, you had to impress the massa. So it kept on. I mean, I know we're 400 years away, but if you remember back in Malcolm X and Martin Luther King days, the black man was with the black woman, and they had a family together. Somehow the system separated them again, and we get into this concept of, I don't want you to do better than me. And instead of us getting together and building our own community and building each other and self-sustaining each other, and that's crabs in a barrel. So we're actually taught that, and we live it now, and I think we love it.
Wow, that's a crazy concept. It's just like crazy that we have that mindset, like we gotta take each other down in order for us to get up, and then it's just like kind of like a vicious cycle. Again, it's really crazy. But thank you for watching Our Children. Before we end, I just want to thank executive producer Miss Beverly Gilchrist for our time here. Thank you for being able for me to have this platform where I'm able to inspire people and also know where I come from. As a matter of fact, Mr. Chaz Green, he is a huge inspiration to me, and I love him, always will.
Love you too, bro.
And I just want to thank everyone on the set for, but I want to,
You caught me.
I want to ask you this one thing. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Retired from the police department. 5 years. I know I'm going to be happy. I know I'm going to be blessed, God willing. He gives me my strength and the life. I hope to be like maybe your producer or promoter son when you start going on tour, and or at least be the old man in the background saying, "That's my boy Chris right there," right? So I know I'm going to be. I think I might go back to teaching. I think I might go back to teaching though.
Thank you.
Thank you,
so
brother.
much.